Those 6,000 construction jobs aren't just abstract numbers on a spreadsheet. They represent iron workers, electricians, and plumbers who live in the Queens or Bronx and commute to Manhattan to support their families. The 15,000 permanent roles attached to a functioning Citadel headquarters don't all pay hedge fund salaries either. Since a major employer creates a need for security, building management, and local restaurants, when a project of that scale shifts from being under construction to a maybe project, the economic ripple isn't contained to a billionaire's balance sheet. It runs straight through working class neighborhoods. The mobility gap matters here, and we should say it plainly. Capital moves easily, but labor does not. Ken Griffin and his partners can revise a building plan and redirect their investment to Miami in a single afternoon. But the electrician who had that job penciled in for next spring can't just follow the money. He is locked in by his mortgage, his kids' school, and his family roots. The people who bear the cost of a business environment that chases away investment are always the people who can't leave and tax the rich. Messaging that ignores this math isn't protecting working New Yorkers. It's actually borrowing from their future. And Griffin's concern about safety after that United Healthcare CEO was killed wasn't an exaggeration for effect. After that murder, certain online spaces saw a documented celebration that should alarm anyone paying attention to the current political climate. When a mayor films a video outside a private citizen's home and it goes viral, that content doesn't just stay in a controlled environment where everyone understands the nuance. It lands in front of audiences the mayor doesn't control. And some of those people interpret this person is your enemy as an instruction rather than a political observation. That is a foreseeable consequence of this behavior, and officials who use this targeting playbook own the results of it. The long term damage that never shows up in a quarterly report is the total collapse of trust. When citizens stop believing that the government applies rules consistently and fairly, compliance drops and the informal agreements that make a city function start to erode. That erosion compounds quietly until one day the city wakes up and the damage is visible everywhere. But by then, nobody can point to the exact moment the system tipped over. This whole situation proves that the most dangerous tool a government has isn't a tax rate. It's a camera and a willingness to use an office to name enemies instead of building systems. The axe here is simple. The axe. Don't judge your leaders by who they target, but judge them by what they build and what they protect. You have to ask yourself if the rules they apply today would still apply if the target were someone you actually liked. If the answer to that is